Hello and welcome to my tutorial on how to build a house with Khan Academy. You can build anything you want in code. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna set up a fill color. So the next shape that I draw is going to be red as opposed to brown, which was my last fill color. Fill colors are pervasive, so you put one right above the shape you want to draw. Now I'm going to draw a rectangle using the function rect. And it wants x, y, width, and height. So x, this is about 100 pixels right here. So I'm just going to go with 100 and see if I like the way that looks. This is a little bit harder to gauge. Looks like it's about halfway down the screen. So I'm going to go with 200. And I'm just not too worried about the width and height. I just want to see right now where that window is. So step 1, draw a window, then use a for loop to draw a row of windows, or use nested for loops to make multiple rows of windows. So a for loop, you specify 3 things and you separate them by semicolons, and then you draw a block of code. You write out a block of code. You should actually know about for loops if you're doing this project because they told you that, so I'll just get into it. Bar x equals, I actually want to start out a little bit to the left of here because I want my window to be a little bit smaller than that, so I'll just jump 20 pixels to the right, and x less than, let's go about 300, x plus equal, I think I'm going to make my windows about 50. So I'll just make those adjustments. This parameter is going to be depending on x. X is the variable in the loop. Y, I'm going to move up because I didn't like the way that first one was drawing. Now, since my dimensions of my windows are 50, I'm actually going to want to increase by a greater number so that there's a little bit of a space between them. So the next thing that you're supposed to do is to draw a row of grass in front and maybe some bushes or flowers. So let's just start out with grass. If you haven't seen what I'm about to do before, I'm using a function called getImage. And that just allows you to get into Khan Academy's image database, and now you have an image stored in grass. It's not the one I actually want to use, but we'll change that later. Once again, I'm setting up an x parameter, and I'm going to increment it and draw a picture all along the bottom here. So I less than 400 because that's the width of the canvas. And I think I'll go in increments of 40 and image that grass variable to the screen at the I coordinate and also at 360 y, and I'll leave off the optional parameters for now just to see what it's doing. So it's drawing the images about where I want them, so I'm going to go ahead and put in the parameters that I left out so that they're small instead of drawing clear here off the screen. And now, just to finish it off, I'm going to go ahead and select the image that I actually wanted. The next step would be to use some double loops and draw some siding. And if I did that right here, at the very bottom of the program, it would just cover up a bunch of stuff. If I did it right here before the windows, that fill went with those windows. By the way, I'm going to make them yellow, as if a light was on inside. So now I'm going to select a fill color that's kind of brick-like. Maybe they're dark red bricks. And starting at the same, well, I guess I'll just copy some of that code. But I'm going to be wanting my bricks to be 30-ish. Now I'm doing a nested for loop. So for each x, I'm also going to do a column of bricks, and that's the power of a nested for loop, is you get this whole area filled in, because for each of your outer variable, you're going to do an entire for loop. And I'm just sort of guesstimating. Guess I did not put it in the right spot because I don't want to cover up that door. So look at this color. Yeah, that's where the door is. This is the body of the house. So I think I'll actually just replace the body of the house with the bricks, since it's going to cover it up anyway. And now to actually changing my mind once again, I'm going to put it all the way up here so that the roof covers it as well. And now to make everything look better, I gotta adjust the I had it. There we go. Almost. Pretty close. Close enough. This side looks like it's overhanging a couple of pixels more than this side, but maybe our carpenter was not so great. I guess I'll go ahead and put a doorknob on this thing. Push and pop style kept the windows from getting this stroke weight, which I'm trying to put on only this dot, which is my door handle, and I'll just use the slider bars to put the door handle where I actually want it. Where is that door? I want to move that down. X, Y. Looking pretty sharp. The house is in plain color. Grass, maybe some bushes. Can we just get a bush image? See, I is this variable that's 0, 40, 0, 40, 80, 120, etc. I'm going to take that value and divide it by 40. So instead of looking at 0, 40, 80, I'm looking at 0, 1, 2. And now I'm going to use this operator that they suggested you use, and I'm going to take the mod of that value, and if that value is a multiple of 5, then the mod of it will be equal to 0. And if that is so, then I'm going to do a bush. How about a slightly smaller mod rate? That looks pretty neat. Use a conditional inside a for loop to make more interesting grass or walls. So that's what we just did. We put a conditional inside where we're drawing our grass to make this more interesting. I did kind of a combination of that requirement and this requirement. And I think that I will end the video on that note.